is an MCA?
Okay.
You know,
So
like, well,
that's
kazi yake ni nini?
that's
Beyond
true.
impeaching governors.
Actually,
Na kupigana watu sasa election.
yes.
we are true, and we don't throw chairs at each other these days. Not
Stones.
really.
I see stones.
Well, yeah, but times are changing.
Yeah.
Now, that's a very good question.
Yeah.
Because if you go to the ordinary quote unquote person
Yeah.
on the ground, he will tell you the work of an MCA is to bring development to my area.
Yes.
Ajenge barabara, hospitali, soko, shule, and what have you.
Yeah.
Okay? 99.9% of the electorate expect that. The Constitution says something totally different.
Okay.
Constitution says you go to the assembly, make laws.
Okay.
Go to what we call committees,
Mm-hmm.
do oversight of the executive, of what
Okay.
the governor does.
Yeah.
Represent, which means take petitions, whatever your people want, in parliament.
Mm-hmm.
Representation. Nowhere does it say anything about development,
Okay.
right? Which presents a new problem. Because when you go to the people and you're campaigning, you tell them, look, we can see this area is, lacking of development. We need roads, we need lights, we need markets, we need medicine in our hospitals. And you feel that.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly what you want to deliver.
Mm-hmm.
But that role is wholly bestowed on the functions of the executive, i.e. the governor, or in the case of national politics, the president.
Okay.
Now, it comes, now the interesting part is now balancing
Yeah.
you lobbying for development and you playing your role as far as the Constitution is concerned.
Yeah.
And that's where now it becomes a bit tricky. Because to your question, the role of an MCA is what the Constitution says.
Okay.
But ideally, the electorate expect you. It's an expectation.
Yeah.
You bring development to the ground.
So
That's
how,
interesting.
So how can this disconnect be sorted out? Because the Constitution is saying one thing.
Yes.
The people on the ground understand something different.
Exactly.
How do you translate legislation, oversight, representation? Because these words,
Yes.
on the ground, they're kizungu mingi.
Kabisa.
Yeah, they
They're
mean
kizungu
nothing.
mingi. They mean nothing.
Yes.
So how do you translate that
Yes.
to resonate
Yes.
with the development that people want, so that they kind of have an understanding?
Okay.
There's a middle ground.
Yes.
Where the two of you, that's the MCA.
Yes.
And the person on the ground can meet.
Okay. Now, it gets even more complicated because of the 6 elected officials, which is from the MCA to the president.
Mhm.
You have member of parliament, women reps, senators, governors, and everybody else.
Mhm.
Now, only the ones that are expected to bring development is the governor, the president, the member of parliament.
Yes.
Those are the 3 people
Mhm.
who are asked for roads and all these things. Of those 3, only the MCA who does not have a kitty for development.
Okay.
A member of parliament has, he has CDF.
Mm-hmm.
The governor has.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, the governor is, that's his work.
Yes.
The president, of course, has that.
Okay.
Right? Now, to go back to your question, the MCA is supposed to bring development, but does not have any money, any kitty, anything to do this.
To do this.
Now, you have to improvise.
Okay.
Now, this is where now politics comes into play, because now you have to play ball with the governor, the executive of the day,
and be nice to him.
and be nice to him,
Yeah.
and present or her,
Yeah.
and present your cases for your ward and your constituents, so that you get development as expected. All this time doing what the Constitution mandates you to do. Because when I came into power, to assembly, when I got elected, I realized very quickly that assembly is a machine, right? It's been there, it has staff. As soon as you get into office, you are given your committees that you work on, you're given a calendar. It's like school, by the way. They even have a bell. We even have a bell of when you actually go into assembly.
Oh, interesting.
So it's a machine. So you start working from day one. You go into committees, you go into plenary, you're given your duties that you need to do. Everything starts running. How you manage to now bring development to your people has to be now up to you and your craftiness. And when I say craftiness, I mean in a good way. How to entice the governor to, look, my ward needs this bridge here, right? And these other guys can wait, but you come and do this. And this is where it becomes really tricky, because when we try and lobby for a ward development fund, it's not forthcoming.
And we're going to talk about that ward development fund. But DJ Moshfire seemed to have a burning question here.
Ata nimeshidwa bana. This is you know, I was about to ask you in all of this, because I see now you have to play, I was going to say dirty politics, but you have to play a lobbyist role. And it's ni kama wewe ni, you're a representative bila portfolio. Una do. You don't have money.
No.
And the expectation or the thought from the people on the ground is that you're going to deliver, because during campaign, supposedly somebody, maybe you did say, okay, yeah, you guys need this, blah, 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 blah. And then, you know, you get elected.
Yes.
So now, do you then also go to the member of parliament because they have CDF funds and say, hey, boss, sasa, ni hivi. Hapa kwetu, you're the one who's covering my award. We need ABCDFG. Nimeongea na ule mse kule juu, lakini ule nika atakuja next year but one.
Exactly.
Sasa unaonaje unipe kipande kidogo? Does that how and what do you hold, or what would you have as an exchange in this conversation? A, with the MP, and B, with the governor.
Okay. And I think what Washeke was asking that question, your question, I think, is along the lines of how, as an MCA, can you legislate to ensure development is happening for your ward? That goes in line with, I think, with what Omosho was asking. How do you navigate that dicey, slippery road?
So again, if you go back to the Constitution envisioned that as a legislator, whatever laws you make or amend or repeal and do whatever karabati, you're supposed to basically, they're supposed to enable development to eventually come to your ward. And that's the design. You go and say, look, every ward shall have X number of bridges or roads and everything else. And then it's supposed to work that way, because you take these laws to the governor. You take the budget, for example. The budget comes to the assembly. We scrutinize it, we change, we put this and that. We do something called a CIDP. It's a 5-year program. We break it down to a year, an annual program called an annual development plan.
What is a CDIP? That one.
CID. DCI.
CIDP. It's an annual plan. It's I'll get the actual words for you.
Okay.
Right? Okay, but it's a 5-year program which basically maps out what you're supposed to do in the 5 year. We pass it in the first year once we're elected. Then we do an ADP, it's an annual development plan. That's an annual plan, derived from the first plan. Okay? Once we have that, we take it to the governor for assent. Right? We say we want to build X number of hospitals, X number of roads, and all these. So essentially, the Constitution says you've done your work as far as development is concerned. Now it's up to the governor or the executive to implement. Once he implements, you oversight what is done. That's how it's supposed to be. But remember, once it goes to the governor, it can be implemented partially or not even at all in your ward. This is where now you have to be, clever in how you cajole him or persuade him to prioritize your ward. Now, to what Omosh is saying, there are some members of parliament who are very, very cooperative with their MCAs in terms of development. They'll be like, look, I'm coming to launch a road in your area. Twende pamoja. Because, politics is perception. Ukionekana hapo na MP, you're doing a road, he's this side, you're this side, you've done your job.